I just got a call.
But there are people that's all about the money.
Oh, yeah. I just got a call and they left me a dirty message and I got so hot.
I'm sorry, was it me?
No, not you. It was somebody left a message saying, hey, you and Ryan Garcia and you making this much money, you should come and drop a bag of money into a neighborhood. I go, what's wrong with this idiot? He really thinks I'm making a lot of money. Listen. And I learned one thing from Joe. He goes, Ricky, I worked.
You learned a lot from Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned a lot from
Joe. So Joe taught me that. He goes, Ricky, I made a little bit of money in boxing. He goes, I don't make a lot of money, but I made a little bit. But a lot of people think that I'm wealthy and I made a lot of money. He goes, Ricky, I always carry myself well. I make it look good. I'm broke as a joke, but I make it look good. Same thing with me, Jack. I love smelling good. I love wearing clean clothes. That's because that's my persona. I grew up in the streets. If you didn't dress well, they'll make fun of you. So I have to iron my clothes every day. I want to look good. But that doesn't make me that I have that I make a lot of money. I just carry myself when I make it look good. So a lot of people assume because they see me on the corner at the fights or working with a champion or I'm with a celebrity like Justin Bieber or Gabriel Iglesias or they see me with you, Jack. They think, oh, man, that guy has money. I don't. It's not me. They have the money. They have real professions that make a lot of money, So when people say that, wait, come and leave a bag of money for the neighborhood.
Rick, let me say something, okay? The world has changed so drastically from when I met you to right now. And now boxing has changed as well. It is I'm not exaggerating one iota. It is 1,000 times harder to be a referee now than it was when I started. Dean Loheis, he liked me. I don't know if he liked me as a human, but he saw potential in me, I guess. And he gave me a lot of fights in a lot of small places. So when I made mistakes when I was first cutting my teeth, 300 people booed me.
Wow.
Big deal. 300 people. It's better than being in Staples with 20 million people, watching on pay-per-view and 16, 20,000. So the problem now is, because of social media, every clown with a camera, a phone, a phone.
Or camera as well.
Video also. So in the old days, when I would try to, if I was following a fighter or wanted to hear about a fight, there would be a little blurb this big in the LA Times that told you who won and lost at the forum. Yeah. And if I missed that paper that day, the Daily Valley News or something,
or LA Times,
I'd have to wait till Ring Magazine came out.
Wow.
The fights that I do, or all of us, they're on YouTube before I get out of the ring.
Yeah.
So the amount of pressure on a referee now, and a judge as well, but more importantly, the referee, not more importantly, more specifically, a referee is 1,000 times greater because they don't know what they're talking about. It could be a 400-pound asshole living in Iowa that never took a punch in the face in his life, is blogging on something, and he's saying the referee did this, the referee did that, and he's got 20 friends that jump on. It don't mean nothing. It just makes it harder because it's all the negative guys are always putting stuff on. You do a good job, maybe someone will say, hey, great job on your way out. But that's what happens. They're not going to take time out of their day. But it's the haters and the jealous people and all that stuff. To be honest with you, that guy who wrote that, called you up, he's got no balls. Why didn't he say, this is so-and-so, you should, and then you say, come over, I'll show you up.
I was hoping. I even saved the message, so
But that's what you got these days. I got people that don't understand.
You got keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors. And you got people these days that never have an opinion that anybody wants to hear, now get to give their opinions, and they do it, they say something negative, and nothing happens to them. Yeah. So they get balls, and they keep doing it. It's a joke. You gotta. It's harder to to do what we do because there's always somebody criticizing, and all I say is, you're a punk. Come and try to do what we do, and then you want to talk. Learn the rules before you're going to comment on stuff. I'll give you a great example, and let's talk about this too. The funniest thing, and this happens all the time now. This is why it's different. Usyk and Dubois. Mm-hmm. They're famous. Was it a low blow? Was it not a low blow? When Usyk went down and was holding his side and the referee called it a low blow.
I was there.
I'm sure you were.
I thought that was a body shot, but
I'm not going to respond to that, but I'm going to tell you this. I got a lot of phone calls from a lot of commentators wanting to know about it, and I don't want to. I'm never going to throw another referee under the bus publicly. Maybe to his face, I'll tell him. But and vice versa. I would want to know if I can improve. I'd want to know, but they didn't. People don't even know what a low blow is. That's what blows me away. So I'd like, if it's okay with you, I'd like to explain for everybody what a low blow is. Okay.
So
everybody thinks it's the navel, the belly button. Okay, it is not. If
where the cup is,
I'm going to explain it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Part of the problem is, in the old days, fighters wore cups and trunks that stopped right at their waistline, 1 inch waistband on it. Now, like you look at Emiliano Vargas, he's got like 8 inches of waistband. It's up to here because he's got all this advertisement, all that stuff on. He's one of them, but it's not. It doesn't matter where the trunks are. It doesn't matter where the cup is. It's very simple. Do you remember as a kid playing Simon Says?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to be Simon. Okay, can you stand up? Will you be able to see it on camera?
We're gonna stand up. Yeah. Will the camera see us? Yeah.
Okay, so look.
You don't have to move it. Just they can see. Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead. So, Jack.
Simon Says, put your hands on your hips. Okay, perfect. Now, take your hands the way you are. You see how your two fingers are forward? Now go straight around and touch your two fingers together. You just drew the fucking place where a low blow is or not.
That's it. That's a low blow.
Top. Your belly button's up here. Where were you touching? Down
right
here.
here.
3 or 4 inches
That's
above.
a low blow.
People's belly buttons are on different spots, but I'm going to explain it to
you.
Let me explain it. Explain it. See right here?
Yeah.
That's the top of your hip. That's where a normal person wears his belt to hold up his or her pants.
Yeah.
That's the point. Right here, the top of the hip, straight line across that's the line. So a cup in the old days,
they have a cup up here,
a stop right here. Now they've got these training cups that come way up. So before the fight, in the center of the ring, when I see all that stuff where the guy's trunks are real high, first thing I do go, say the trunks were up here. I go, this is the point of where a low blow starts. And let me explain this too. Say this is the point right here.
Yeah.
See this punch?
Yeah.
Half on, half off?
Yeah.
It's legal. It's below that point.
That's
when the glove starts getting down below it, we'll start warning the guy. And once it's below, it's definitely a low blow. But now you could decide if that punch on Usyk was fair or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna have to look at it.
And anyone else can understand where a low blow is. The cups were made to protect the pelvic girdle, the organs behind the pelvic girdle, and then the cup itself.
To the testicles and all that.
The girdle protects all those organs, and the cup is for the huevos.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people think it's something up here. Man, you've got muscles. People, fighters have 6 packs, 12 packs. Yeah. You can't build muscle in here.
Interesting.
So that's what it was made for, the pelvic girdle and the organs.
I learned something new from you today. Wow, interesting.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
But so with me, Tom Taylor, Ray Corona, the referees that we study this shit like it's the Bible.
Yeah.
Because it is. Because when we're in there, we're going to get held to it. We've got systems and methods that we use that are true, tested and tried and true, So I could see it, I could recognize it in a second only because we know what we're looking for. Rabbit punches, elbow, you name it. The person who studies it can instantly recognize it and make a decision and call it.
Yeah.
The person who's waffling, they freeze. And you can see it.
Now that you tell me, that's very interesting.
And any kind of question like that you ask, I'll tell you.
Interesting. Now, Jack, I have a very important question that...
Yes, I love you, Ricky.
No, I love you, but we're gonna go back because we're gonna go back and forth of things that we spoke about earlier. But this is one of the most important things that I wanted to ask you right now. In boxing, or as a judge or a referee, have you ever taken a bribe?
Are you crazy?
I just have to ask.
I make shit money in boxing.
But does that really happen, Jack? I mean, look,
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah,
I make shit money in boxing. For the most point, all of us do, and we all have careers on the outside. I was very fortunate, fireman. I worked,
great career as a captain.
Great career. Well, I mean, just the 31 years. Look, it wasn't like boxing in the ring. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But when you look at the end picture, I survived, 31 years on the fire department, got in a little trouble, sticking up for my rights and different things. But in the end, it's all good. I got a pension, medical health benefits. What can someone give me that's going to change my life that I'd be stupid
Money,
enough?
millions of dollars?
Who's going to give me millions of dollars? And what would I have to do in the ring? First of all, I got a wife and 2 kids. What would I look like to them if I took it for money? I got a good life. I got enough.
But do you think that happens?
Yes. I think there are people that approach referees for bribes. There are people. What happens more than that is some people go out of their way to buy little things or do things for referees to get an edge.
Correct.
And you can't be part of it. You can't be part of it. It just it don't work.
There's one big fight, Jack, that there's multiple fights that I've seen of yours and that you have worked, but I was there ringside when Tyson Fury, and you know what fight I'm going. Tyson Fury 1 fight, I was there. Wilder, sorry. Tyson and Wilder. Tyson Fury versus Wilder, the first fight on that 11th round, or was
12th,
it 10th?
Last round, man.
12th round when Wilder knocked him down and Tyson was down. I go, yes! I was rooting for Wilder because, he's a friend of mine as well, but I had a lot of money into that bet. I go, he's not going to get up. And I was counting.
Am I going to be allowed to leave this
room?
No,
you're going to leave. Because I might tax you because your car, you have a good car in the
I was
back.
afraid when I walked in here, it was going to be plastic on the ground because you're going to kill me and cut me up on the plastic, man.
Jack, I think you know more about that. You're more Italiano,
That's it.
So when I saw that, I go, wait a minute. I'm counting 1, 2. So how were you counting that fight, Jack? I have to ask you this because I'm sure a lot of people will say, well, good question. Because I was counting normal as my watch. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And
You're counting too slow right now.
Was I?
Right now, you're counting too slow.
Really? So you go a little bit faster. But that went, to me, I counted at 12 seconds, Jack.
I don't know how you count. I know you're not educated, but I don't know how you count. But listen, Ricky, let me just tell you something. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. I want you to tell me.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of bullshit. It was one of the best decisions I ever made to not just wave it off. Now, I'm not talking about the count.
Yeah.
The fact that the way he was hit and the way he fell, I didn't wave it off right away because of my fire department training. Yeah. When I sat down and went like this to Wilder to go to the neutral corner, and I saw him laying there, and I turned to the timekeeper. She got up and said, whatever, 2. And as soon as I turned back, Fury was laying on the ground with this leg up.
Yeah.
And he was doing this. He wasn't unconscious. He was unconscious, this leg would have been flat down. So instead of just waving it off, I said, let me see what I got.
Okay.
Because I was taught by Lou Filippo, always count a champion out. Lou, you remember these things, right? So I didn't want to rush, and I watched Kenny Bayless. Remember when Pacquiao knocked Hatton out? I mean, the guy in the last row of the audience knew Pacquiao wasn't getting up, but Kenny didn't rush and just count him out. He took 2 steps in without making a count, got down for the benefit of the doubt, then waved it off.
Yeah.
I said, I like that. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to rush to judgment because, how many guys play possum and then they jump up and you're waving it off.
Kind of like Tony Weeks when he did Corrales Castillo.
I'm not going there. Anyway, you should be happy whatever it is because it worked out well for you guys. But so I said, let me see what I got. I took 2 steps in, and I was saying 3, and as I was coming in, this is what they can't see it on film.
Yeah.
But Fury turned his eyes towards me. He acknowledged he saw me, and he was paying attention.
Okay.
So then I got down and started counting. And when he was looking right at me, and when I got to 6, 5 or 6, I can't remember right now, his eyes popped wide open. And he rolled over and got his ass up. And let me explain.
Because he got up at 8 or 9, Jack?
9. I'll explain something to you. A fighter is considered a downed fighter, which means he's either knocked down or he fell down. But you can't hit a downed fighter.
Okay.
So a fighter is considered a downed fighter anytime due to a legal punch or punches when any part of their body other than the soles of their feet touch the canvas. There's also a part of it on the ropes, but I won't go into that now. But conversely, when are they no longer down? They're no longer down once no part of their body is touching the ground. So this is what I had, Rick. This is what I had. I said 9. and he was like this.
Okay.
And he stood up, and I didn't have to say 10 because he was no longer down.
Oh, okay. But so why seen referees stop
Because
as
they
soon
don't
as they
know
get
what
up
they're fucking doing.
at
Excuse my
9?
language.
Yeah, as soon as they get up at 8, 8.5 or 9, boom, they count.
Okay, so they're
Yeah.
right. They're right. Okay,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna explain why. Years ago, when Jack Dempsey and Jack Johnson used to fight, I got to get up again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
The fighter would get knocked down,
Yeah.
and the fighter would be like this, trying to get up,
Yeah.
and they were allowed to hit him as soon as they raised their hand.
Oh,
off the ground.
wow.
I got films of Dempsey and Jack Johnson. They were smart. And like, say the guy's head's right here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They would go behind him, and so the
Wait
guy
for them.
So if the guy got up this way, they come this way. And they would-
Interesting. And the referee will allow that? And back in the days?
No, boxing allowed it.
Okay.
So they were losing. A lot of people were dying. They were getting
Wow.
injured so bad they were actually dying.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what year it was, but they realized they can't let a guy hit a guy that just got concussed.
Yeah.
You know, you have an interruption of the communication in the brain, concussion. You can't let a guy get hit while he's rising like that. So they instituted they send the standing fighter to the neutral corner. That's where it started.
Yeah.
Okay. Then in 1961, when Emil Griffith fought Johansson, or was it Patterson and Johansson? I think it was Floyd Patterson and Johansson fought. They instituted a mandatory 8 count. So that what they found also is, guy gets knocked down, he would get up at 3, wipe his gloves, let him go. Guy's still fugazi. You can't let him, right? You got to give him a better assessment. So they decided, the doctors, the ringside physicians, everybody got involved, and they said, look, if you would count him out, you'd count to 10, right? Yeah, and you get to get a decent look at him up to 10, right? Yeah. He says, well, we're going to do a mandatory 8 count. You get 8 seconds to at least look at him, then ask him a couple of questions, and then let him go on. So when a fighter's down, even if they go up at 2 or 3, we have to go to 8, ask them some questions, and go. That's the rule on it.
Wow.
That's why they do it. That's why we do it.
Jack, so when you see a guy coming in from round 1 and he's getting his ass kicked round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Fucking great question where you going with it. I love this.
Yeah. He's getting his ass kicked, and you know he's not coming back. I know there's always a puncher's chances, but when you see a guy that's getting his humility bruised up, banged up, what are you doing in a fight like that, Jack?
Ricky, I am so glad you threw me this softball of a question, and I'm going to tell you something too. I had a fight. We get fights like that all the time. It's called a competitive, non-competitive fight.
Correct.
Just because one guy is throwing back doesn't mean he's competitive. Sometimes it's just arm punches, no effect on the other fighter. And if a fighter wins every round by 1 point, this guy, when you get to the middle point of the fight, say it's a 12-round fight, after 4 or 5 even, if he's down, he's got to win every other round just to get a draw at 6.
Correct.
But if he's been knocked down on top of that, he can't win the fight. He's down by so many points, he can't win mathematically. He hasn't shown that he has a real puncher's chance. Everybody says, oh, he's got a puncher's chance, you got to let him continue. No, if he hasn't demonstrated in the 5 rounds or 4 rounds prior, he's not going to all of a sudden get this thing.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter what he did. In this case, it doesn't matter what he did in his last 25 fights. What matters is tonight, he's not bringing it. Something's wrong. Maybe he dried out too much. He doesn't have enough. He lost too much weight, whatever it is. And we've got to evaluate his health and safety. So if they can't win mathematically, they really don't have a puncher's chance. Additionally, if they have visible physical damage that we could see on their face and they're fighting just to survive, we got to do what's best for boxing.
Correct.
And what's best for his health and safety is Fundura was fighting Ocampo.
Okay.
And Ocampo came out in those first 4 rounds like a demon. Mm-hmm. He was animated, he was bouncing, he had great step, he was pounding, and him and Fundura were going at it. In the 4th round, something changed, and Fundura went from standing correctly and throwing punches to standing with his feet horizontal in a straight line and just throwing arms. And for the next 4 rounds, Fundura shellacked him. And it comes to a point where when I go in the corner each round and I'm looking in on him and I see he has visible damage, he's throwing arm punches, he's taking a lot of shots, and then I go over and Dr. Wallace is going like this to me. we're watching him, and I go, Doc, I seen his body language change. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. We gotta get that guy out of there, because in the old days we would have to let it go, but now
you have to look up for their health.
We are so much more educated on what we're seeing than guys 30 and 40 years ago, because of the internet and because of medical advances. You can't let competitive, non-competitive fights go to their distance if the guy's just fighting to survive and he's hurt and he can't win.
Yeah.
So it's our job to come in the ring. Ricky, let me just finish. It's our job to come in the ring, have the doctor check him out, tell the guy, I'm not going to let you take a beating.
Yeah.
It's not their job to do that. He stated.
Yeah, it is
my
your job. Yeah.
Whose fucking job is it when that guy dies? You're going to blame the commission, the doctor, and me.
And you.
So come on. It's just wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
Man. Did I answer it okay?
Oh, that was
great.
Was
I too emotional?
No, I love it. Well,
Someone's got to be their advocate.
Yeah.
And pull them out when they are not competitive the whole night, or they no longer have the ability to compete. Someone's got to do it. Everybody's going to point fingers. Guess what? We're stuck with it. I don't make the fight. We don't make the fights.
Correct.
We're stuck with them.
Yeah.
And when you have a fight like that, what about the matchmakers, man? He just wants somebody's not all of them. Some of them are great, but there's guys that just want to get a couple of bucks. They don't care who they put in as long as they're getting paid for it, and we get stuck with it. I give you a million examples.
What was the toughest fight, Jack, that you ever refereed? Well, give me a couple fights. I know that you had real tough fights.
Yeah.
But give me 2 tough fights that are really known.
Great ones. Okay. So
maybe 3. Give me 3 to the fans that were very competitive, back and forth, tough, that you would say, fuck, man,
Well, you were there on one of them. So one was Andre Ward against Edwin Rodriguez in Oakland.
Yes.
Those two guys hated each other's guts.
La Bomba.
La Bamba came in 20 pounds overweight for his super middleweight fight, I think it was.
Correct. It was at Oakland. No. La Bomba was at Citizens Business Bank Arena.
It was in Ontario?
In Ontario.
I thought it was up there.
Man, how many fights did you have, Jack?
I know a lot, but I've refereed Andre about 5 times, so I just forgot where it was. La Bamba came in.
La Bomba.
I thought it was La Bamba.
No, La Bomba.
Okay, La Bomba.
Yeah. Edwin La Bomba.
Came in 20 pounds overweight, which is like, a great percentage of body weight. It demonstrated at the time he didn't have any desire to make weight.
Correct.
Maybe he was smart. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe he was smart because he felt he couldn't beat Ward at that weight. So let Ward lose all the weight. I'll take the fine, but I'll beat him, get a rematch, make double the money. Maybe that's what he was thinking. But it made for real bad blood between these guys. Don't know if you remember this, but so they were letting the fight continue because Andre said, I'll let it go, we'll fight. But they gave Rodriguez a stipulation that, you're 20 pounds over right now. You can't gain any more weight.
Correct.
Tomorrow. You're going to weigh in again tomorrow at 8 a.m., and you can't gain any more weight between now and 8 a.m. The next morning, somebody from Ward's camp stole the scale. So Rodriguez couldn't weigh in at 8. I didn't know that part, Yeah, so Rodriguez couldn't weigh in at 8, and they were trying to keep him. Yeah, they were trying to keep him as low as possible. Interesting. It was funny, but they got him to weigh in. So they hated each other. When they got in the ring, it was truly bad blood. It wasn't, WWE type of stuff. And the first 4 rounds of that fight were like 2 kids in a playground fighting. They were just on the inside. They were roughing it up, holding elbows, shoulders,
everything
was going on. And I was trying, it was a world championship fight on HBO. I didn't want to over officiate. I always like to try to let the 2 guys settle it between themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, but I had to get involved because it was just getting ugly. And there was one point where Ward, they got tied up and Ward's head went under Rodriguez's shoulder, armpit. And Rodriguez, I said, stop. I said the word stop. And instead of stopping, Ward was kind of pushing him back. But really what was happening is Rodriguez did like a guillotine chokehold on Ward and was raising his arm, take the oxygen away. Yeah. So I went in yelling, stop, because, it was bullshit. And when I got there, Ward started throwing punches, even though he was held. It was getting into a street fight. So I grabbed Andre to spin him off. Rodriguez caught me with a good little left hook in the head. Yeah. Didn't go down, but but it was entertaining, I guess. And broke him apart, separated everybody, read him the riot act, asked Andy Foster I took 2 points from each guy, asked Andy Foster to fine both of them, which he did, because we had to get it settled into a decent fight. And it settled in that they ended up going the distance. I didn't have to take any more points away. But
no more fines and none of that.
Nothing. It was what it was. I see Edwin Rodriguez about 3 years later at the Home Depot Center. We're walking by each other. He goes, "Hey, I want my money back."
How much did they get fined for that?
No, a couple $1,000. It was nothing. The other fight that I had that was really difficult was Sakio Bika against Anthony Durrell. Their styles made it really difficult because it was one punch and hold, 2 punches and grab and wrestling.
Yeah.
The fans were booing, and it's not my responsibility to make it an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
But I had to do something to, because there was just so much of it. But there was nothing a referee, I don't think, could have done other than disqualifying him with just taking lots of points to try to make it something better. I ended up breaking him quicker and getting all that stuff going, but
that was one of the toughest fights.
It was very tough fight. Yeah.
You, Jack, as if you had the power like Andy Foster does, or what would you change as for the judges or referee? What would you in a perfect world?
In a perfect world?
Yeah.
So I would change the way people come into the sport as officials. There should be one body, like Major League Baseball or NFL, hockey, whatever,
You start from the bottom.
overseeing, but everyone has one office or one set of people have power over all the people coming in to make sure they understand the standards and we're all looking at something the same. Additionally, I want to speak about something that me, Tom Taylor, Russell Moore, and Ed Calantis are doing. One of the hardest things is what we're talking about is getting everybody on the same page the way we see stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And we put our heads together. Well, I'll go to the next. If you could do that and everybody was under the same group, everyone would have to be on the same page and everyone would be judging the same and reffing the same, which would give it consistency. The fans boxing wouldn't get as many black eyes, and the fans would, get an overall better product. That's what I would love to change. And I'm trying on my own. Yeah. When you get a little time on as a referee, people see you on TV, they think they know you.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it in a good way.
Yeah.
And you meet other referees at conventions, and you're sitting around having a beer at the convention, and they go, hey, it's funny because I did the same thing when I was young in the sport. When I would see Lou Filippo, Marty Denkin, Pat Russell, those guys, and I'd say, hey, I had a situation. Can I talk to you about it? Yeah, this happened to me in the ring. So I'd meet guys from all over the world, and they started calling me and asking me, hey, this is what happened in the ring. How do you, what could I have done different? And you give them philosophy, and then you give them the method of how to change it. Yeah. So it was such a large amount of people calling me, Tom and Russ and whatever. We put together a school for referees, which I wish.
This is what you're doing right now, correct?
This is what I was
going to get to right now, but you jump on it
now. I wish the sanctioning bodies would find who they felt the most.
And when you say sanctioning bodies, can you let the fans know what is the sanctioning bodies?
Yes, I apologize. Usually,
no, it's okay. But some people want to know, because I want to know what are the sanctioning bodies as well.
So there's quite a few sanctioning bodies, but the 5 major sanctioning bodies would be the WBC, the WBO, the IBF, the WBA, and the IBO. Those 5 sanctioning bodies do the most fights. I think the WBC would probably take the cake, and WBO right behind them, the WBA and whatever after that. But those 5 sanctioning bodies are the people that, when a fighter fights for a belt, it's their belt that they fight for. This is a WBC belt. I can tell you without even looking at it.
This was a gift. This was a gift from me This was a gift for me from Andy Lane. He's my fighter's manager. After we won a fight, he was so happy. He gave it to me as a gift after Hamza won the WBC belt, and he gave me that as a gift.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So, well, going back to your thing, Jack. So your program that you're doing.
Yeah. So, I wish they would sanction us and support us and make it the official choice of all the referees, or the official thing that they have to do and pass.
Why do you think they don't? Sorry to cut you off. Why do you think they don't?
I don't know. I think they all got their own guys who teach for them, and they don't. Maybe they just don't. They all know me and stuff like that. And they know Tom Taylor, they know Russell Mora, but they just haven't had the time to sit and listen and understand what we do. No one's called me to question me about why do you think yours is better than everybody else's. But ours came out of demand, and what we do is let me back up and say this: in every major league sport, before the season's about to start, but definitely yearly, the Major League Baseball will throw some seed money to the umpires union. Hey, do your hell week, your boot camp every week, every year. So the Major League Baseball will put together a 1 week long session of where all the umpires, guys aspiring to be umpires, and the seasoned umpires get together, and the people who run the whole umpires league say, okay, guys, here's the changes we made to the rules. Home plate is going to be 3 feet back, first base, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So the umpires go, oh shit, I was on vacation. I didn't know you did that. But they understand the rules before the season starts. And they go over, guys, these are the new mechanics we want you to do. Mechanics are what the umpire does, calls a strike, calls a ball, calls safe. Same thing. We should be able to do the same thing. We should be able to go over.
Hold, break, or stuff like that?
Cut from a butt.
Yeah.
Cut from a punch.
Yeah.
We should be able to teach all the mechanics so we're all doing the same mechanics.
So you have a program, Jack, doing this? And how often are these, and who could join? Okay. And who could come and see?
Great question.
And where, how?
Okay. The school we have is called Soul Arbiter.
Soul?
SOLE, new word, Arbiter, ARBITER. And where we got that from is in the official rules and regulations, it says the ref is the sole arbiter of the bout, the only one allowed to stop the bout. Yeah. So this is called Soul Arbiter Elite Boxing Referee Training. And what we do, we have a 3-day training course. It's private. Nobody's given us any money to help us, so it's private. We charge, but it's for everybody.
What do you charge? So people that might be interested in doing this, do they have to have experience or?
No, I was just getting to it. I swear, yeah. So we have opened this up for everybody. Last year we had 60 people from all over the world: Germany, Poland, Canada, United States. For sure. Yeah. This year, we're getting close to those numbers. We do it probably once a year. It's on Labor Day this year, which is August 30th, 31st, and September 1st. It's going to be at the Orleans Hotel and Resort in Las Vegas. We're going to be using a professional boxing gym with 2 rings in it as well. We start out with 2 days, 10-hour days, long days, in a banquet room with a PowerPoint presentation. We have 350 clips of situations in fights that I could show you some of them on my phone. Guy gets punched, he's down on the ground, he gets hit. What's the referee supposed to do? We break it down to a gnat's ass. We give everybody all the choices. If the punch had effect, if the punch didn't have effect, if it was intentional, if it was accidental. Yeah. So the referee has an opportunity to conceive in his head, oh, shoot, there's different things I got to do in different situations. And we go over that, and we go over the proper mechanics for it. And on 2 10-hour days doing that, philosophy, methodology, practical application. And the 3rd day, we hire 4 professional or amateur, in this case, boxers. We did it at Knuckleheads Boxing the last couple of times. In Ventura. He had the greatest guys helping us out, Chris and the other guys. Chris J. and Chris and some professional boxers helping us out. They did the scenarios exactly what we wanted. And the referees get in the ring. They don't know what's coming. And we have the boxers moving around to see how the referee moves so we can help them. And then we have them doing situations like knockdown with punches, wrestling, headbutts, low blows, rabbit punch. You name it, we got it. Crazy stuff. But we don't sit there and criticize the ref. We critique him to help him or her get better. So, but this course, wherever you're at in your career, it's going to up your levels, man. You're going to be way better than you were because you're going to think about things and look at things in a totally different way than maybe you have. And the ways you're going to look at them come from almost between 2,500 and 3,000 fights between the 4 of us. It's a lot of shit that's happened to us. A lot of mistakes we've made. We've learned from those mistakes. We've corrected them. look, the referees now, I don't know why, they would rather spend $3,000, go to a convention,
Yeah.
hopefully get seen by the sanctioning body, and maybe get a championship fight.
Yeah.
And you know, which is good. You got to do
Yeah.
that stuff too. But how about just improving yourself?
And getting look better. Yeah.
Invest in yourself. Come to this thing if you don't want to, if you don't like.
How not even to cut you off.
I'm going to give you all.
Yeah.
So I got, right now, you know, there's still 2 months before this thing, 2.5 months. I'm already at 17 people returning.
Wow.
Not
okay.
7. I got another 15 or 20 new people. But what does it tell you when 17 people are returning, most of them for the third time?
They want to get better.
Yes, but the information is valid.
Very valuable.
Yeah. So I'm saying to these refs, invest in yourself. The course is $1,250 for the 3 days.
That's not bad.
In MMA, it's $3,000 in some of these courses.
Yeah.
You got to pay for the hotel. We got discounts on the hotel. Vegas is pretty much easy to get to for everybody. You don't need a car. You Uber right to the hotel. You don't need a car from that point on. Meals are cheap. Everything's good. And it'll be a lot of fun. And top referees, we're going to have some visitors come in and do some talking. Last year we had Mark Relier there, and then the chief.
Sorry, I can't make it this time, Jack. Sorry.
If you got something,
I think my invitation got lost in the mail, but next year, God willing.
You know, it'd be a conflict of interest to have boxing trainers in there. But we got like the inspectors and the EOs from the athletic commissions coming down. We had one of the commissioners come down and address everybody, tell them what he's looking for. And it's a great opportunity. And I'm going to explain why. Most referees, I'm guilty of it too, a little bit, they do the trial and error method. You know, I had this fight, I had a tough fight, and I try to figure out how I do it better. It don't work. It takes 25 years. Learn from the 3,000 fights that we have, almost whatever between us, that all the mistakes that we made, that we corrected, and all the situations we've subjected to, as well as the people calling us in. I've been jotting it down and using those scenarios. When I see something happen on TV, I don't care who the ref was. It's the situation that I want to use for everybody. So they can find us at soularbiter.com. SOLEARBITER.com. Please take a look.
Is there a number where they can contact as well? Email or something?
That's the website.
Okay.
On the website has everything. You can register right on the website. You can learn about it. You can see testimonial after testimonial on that thing of the guys, as well as the WBO has sanctioned us and knows that what we're doing is valid, because I've taught a lot of ABC courses for them, and you know, and other celebrities that you would know, that you would believe, Teddy Atlas, Steve Farwood, they're all saying, go and learn from these guys.
This should be your caption on top. This is what Joe Goosen would say: learn from other people's mistakes,
you don't,
not your own. And that's a great course that I think you don't want to learn from your own mistakes. Learn from other refs that have corrected those mistakes.
Yes, it's a lot easier learning from other people's mistakes than your own. You don't take the criticism. You don't take that gut-wrenching feeling that you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And so I would recommend that anybody who really wants to get it, but also we've opened it up to where fans can come if they want.
Yeah.
If they want to have an experience like
and you get to meet all the top referees.
And
I wanted to ask you this, Jack, real quick, before we finish our here. To you, besides being you, Jack Reiss, top referee, who are your top 3 referees out there besides Ray Corona and you? Ray Corona. I think Ray Corona.
Tom Taylor was also a great referee. Russell Mora was one of the top refs in the world. What that guy did, let me tell you something. Russ worked 20 years for the last 5 years of his career. He did all the junk fights, had all the troubles, all the problems. Last 5 years of his career. I beg you to look at BoxRec and find anybody who's done what he did. He did Canelo 5-6 times. You name it. He did it in those years. And now Tom Taylor has experienced a wonderful career. There are other great referees across the country, but the lions I hang with, I just mentioned.
But you, Jack, you have, as a referee, you have one of the refs that has the most fights, over 1,150 fights.
Yes.
That you referee.
Yes.
And over 100 plus championship fights.
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive.
I'm blessed. Live in California, and you know, Dean Loheis took. I tell you something, Dean Loheis, I gotta credit him because he saw some potential he felt, and he gave me lots of small fights, and I really got to learn my craft.
Get experience.
It's like doing a lot of 4-rounders as a fighter. And then It wasn't always easy because there was a lot of politics. I didn't get propelled into the bigger fights for many years.
Yeah.
Got held back, and I don't want to whine like a bitch anymore.
But you're here now on top.
But Andy Foster, when he got there, he didn't know anybody. And he asked John Frierson, who are your best referees? And John Frierson told him, Jack Reiss, this one, this one, this one. So Andy gave me an opportunity at the bigger fights.
Yeah.
And that's when that part of it took off. And I thank God for him. Thank God that happened.
That's great, Jack. Well, Jack, and I'm going to say this, it was an honor to have you here after so many years. I think it's 30-something years, Jack, that I've known you already now, and we always have our little things,
32 years.
32 years.
Yeah, because I walked in this place in 1992.
Wow. Yeah. I've been at Tengoose, 36 years? Jack, wow. It was an honor to have a nice, we joke around all the time, you and I,
each other.
And it was an honor to have you on and tell us a little bit more and what could be done in boxing as well to be, be better as a referee and a judge. And hearing your story, people that didn't know who you were, now they have a little glimpse of when they see you in a big fight. Oh, Jack used to fight amateur. He did some boxing. He grew up in New York, and this is what I'm trying to do, have people get to know who is the man besides saying, oh, look, Jack Reiss is a famous referee. But now they know who you are, Jack.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Ricky, I love you. We've known each other. And what's really nice, that people understand, we never asked anything from each other, professionally.
Yeah.
It's just we kid with each other, but you've made tough decisions with me where you had to stick up for your fighter, and I've had to make tough decisions and what I felt was right, and we've never lost the respect anything.
It's a business, but at the same time we have respect, and I'm always going to respect you.
Vice versa.
I might not agree on certain things when I see you as a decision, but I'm not going to lose respect over that unless you take a lot of points away from my fighter, I'm not just kidding, Jack, but...
Hey, I refereed your nephew. How many times did you ever do anything that
never?
You got pissed
You always you're a fair guy.
That's the point.
That's what I care about. Like what Andy Foster has done in the sport, what he's doing, the changes to me is amazing. Why? Because we feel free that we're able to go talk. Because I was not kind of like, fuck, I don't know how to tell Andy Foster because he looks so intimidating. But when you speak to him, he has that soft-spoken voice, and you could talk to him just like I could talk to you. I could talk to Ray. Some people might say, "Oh, Ricky has it in his back pocket," or something. No, it's just we have friends, and I know
Ray has developed so much over the last few years. Corona, and Andy Foster gave him that opportunity. And when Ray got suspended, when Andy Foster gave him the opportunity to come back, I think Ray's mind shifted, and he really dived into a lot deeper than he's ever been. He came to Sole Arbiter and stuff. But, man, he's one of the top referees now, and he's making great decisions under pressure. And, you talk about the Wilder Fury decision. Yeah. It's those decisions under pressure that we make that make us or break us. But, mistakes are all part of the game. But, I'm a happy guy because if people like yourself can look at me and say, man, he's not perfect, but, man, he's fair. He's just a fair guy. What else you want? What do you want?
You're fair. I haven't seen you judge yet. But I seen you referee, and I think you're fair. Now that you explained to me and you give me the breakdown on the situation and the fight, and a lot of fans are going to understand that as well. I'm sure I could ask you deeper, tough questions that some fans, and I think that's what I'm going to do next time. I'm going to have a list of what fans would like to ask you, because that's great. I'm going by what I see in the sport, because as to this day, Jack, I'm still learning. And I'm learning every day, as you are as well, I'm sure.
I've been doing this 26 years.
And you still
I had a situation last night that I never had before.
Really?
Last night I worked in too much. When Callum Walsh was fighting, first, Callum Walsh did an excellent job last night. He actually looked new and improved. I swear to you.
Did he really?
He came out throwing thwopping punches, man. He was hard, and he beat a guy that's a good fighter. He was 15-5. Something like that, but a real opponent. He fought some good guys and stuff, and I expected it to be go to distance and all that stuff. Yeah. But Callum came out throwing hard. His speed was increased from what I remember, and his accuracy, he was going to the body and the head. He was looking for openings. The guy raised his arm a little too high, boom, right to the... I was really impressed with his performance last night. But at the end of the first round, after hitting him with some good shots, stopping him in his tracks, taking him off his, moving him off his
Yeah.
game. But the guy's moving forward, he gets swapped, and all of a sudden he has to reset and go again. Callum had done that a couple of times with him. Right at the 10-second warning, Callum dropped him. So it happened right in the guy's corner, and the timekeeper was right in front of me. And when the guy went down, she had her clock and the 10-second warning thing that we use, and like a drumstick in her hand. And he got hit, and she's going bam, 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 and the guy gets dropped. So it was great. Lerona Ganaway, she shook her head at me, acknowledged, and we're on the same page. And I shook my head back. Yes, we know what we got to do, and I'll explain what I mean. So now he's down. We're going to ignore the bell. She's not going to ring the bell because you can't be saved by the bell. So she was acknowledging we're not ringing the bell. And I'm counting. So the second part of it that happened is he gets up at 6. I count to 8. And now I know I gave him 8 seconds. The thing had rung. No. By the time I say, are you okay? And whatever, the round's over, right?
Yeah, yeah.
At 8, he purposefully spits his mouthpiece out because he didn't realize the end of the round. He was looking like Corrales and Castillo. He was looking to get some extra time to rest. But my rules say, when that happens and I assess them, the rules of boxing tell me that on any time a mouthpiece comes out during a knockdown, we shall consider it a lull in the action, and you have to replace the mouthpiece. Why? Because it's a lull, and if that guy breaks his jaw or gets hurt, we were mandated to put that mouthpiece back in. But this instance, I knew the round was coming to an end. I didn't want to say the word box in case Callum didn't hear. And he comes running, then I got to shoulder him, we get in a fight. So I turned to her and I said, ring the bell. And then she didn't ring the bell, so I got between them and said box, but we did it seamlessly. It never happened like that before.
Wow.
It was just interesting.
Wow.
But she might not have realized, well, she doesn't for sure. What am I saying? That I can't put the mouthpiece back in. I would have to call time, do all that stuff. It would have been a moot point. Let's let him get back in the corner, get a doctor in to assess him, let the guy go on and stuff like that. Just interesting.
You learn as you go.
Interesting stuff.
Jack, social media, anywhere where your fans could follow you? I don't know your social media?
The Soul Arbiter. Yeah, the Soul Arbiter on Instagram. That's the handle. And if you look us up on soularbiter.com, you'll see all that stuff.
How about you personally? Your social media? Are you on social media at all, Jack?
They want us staying off social media.
Got it.
And stuff like that. Because
I know sometimes I see you wear a Tengoose boxing shirt, but it's okay. We don't,
You'll never see me wearing one of those things. First of all, you never gave me any. But no, we can't do that. There's no favoritism and stuff like that, so we won't do it. It's not whatever. I want to offer you something too.
Yeah.
You know the thing about the low blow I just showed you?
I learned that new.
Okay, and judging?
Yeah.
I'll work with you on the phone. I'll give you topics. You can have me on whenever you want.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, let's talk about some scenarios. What happens when a fighter throws a legal punch, but the other guy turns his head and gets hit behind the head? Whose fault is it? And I'll tell you we'll give you 10 things like that. What happens if a guy steps on another guy's foot and hits him and he goes down?
We could go on for hours, Jack, doing this. And I want to bring you back again. Thank you for coming. It was an honor. I would love to have you back on again, Jack.
Ricky, it was an honor and a pleasure for me, and thank you for the opportunity to help educate the fans who pay so much to watch this sport and love it so much. To maybe we can, make a better, enjoyable experience for them as well. So thank you for having me on. You're doing a great job, unbelievable job. This room you set up and the atmosphere, you make it professional and you make it personal at the same time. I love everything that you put up.
Well, I got to get something from you here,
Jack.
You're
killing it, man.
Well, I need to get your signature here, Jack.
That's for sure. That's for sure. But you're killing it, man.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
Get over here.